How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite aviation channel. Today I am super excited to finally bring to you all the fifth new model airport this summer, and actually the biggest model airport diorama that I have ever made in my life. So this, of course, is none other than Chicago O'Hare International Airport Terminal 5, the international terminal at O'Hare. So this has been a project that I've been planning for a very, very long time. I think I began planning it in late 2020, early 2021, and I've been meaning to do it for such a long time, just never had the time to do so. Finally, I was able to get some time on this Thursday night to film this video for you all. I put this diorama together a few days earlier. I'm filming this Thursday night before I actually go to Chicago tomorrow morning. I'm going up there for the Airliners International Convention, which actually started today. It's going to go through Thursday through Saturday, but I'm only going to go for one day because I'm very, very busy these days, so I only had time to go for just one day. So I have a really, really early wake-up call. I have a 1:30, 2 a.m. wake-up call. I have to catch a bus at 3:30 to get to Chicago. It's just going to be a crazy day tomorrow. So filming this the night before. Hopefully it's going to be a great day trip up there. Hopefully I'll meet a lot of people, a lot of my viewers at that convention, and hopefully I'll get some nice videos from it as well to share with you all. So I'm filming this the night before because I'm sure I won't have any time afterwards to do this, so I had to squeeze it in when I could. I apologize if I do sound a bit tired. I've been literally working at my job 16 of the past 24 hours. It's been a big grind, and combined with my summer classes, I just took an exam today. Wasn't all that great. So that's besides the point. O'Hare Terminal 5 is finally here. Let me quickly show you all around, and then we will proceed into the routes and all that stuff. Alright, so let's just take a brief moment to just appreciate the scale of this diorama. So this is one table right here. This is another table right here. And then this is another table right here. It's a huge setup. So I would love to do regular updates of this airport. Unfortunately, it does require usage of a couple other model airports. Like this right here is actually my Lahore airport mat. It's just flipped upside down, so it's the foils are on the other side. So this is actually the Lahore airport mat, and then this is nothing. This is just another mat that I made, and then this is actually the St. Thomas one, flipped upside down. I'm probably just gonna discontinue St. Thomas or something. Nobody really, it's just not really a popular airport, so I don't think it's worth doing more updates of it. But that's St. Thomas. Lahore's back there, and then this is just another board. So yeah, so this is basically what it looks like in real life. We have the remote stands here for Terminal 5. You know, airlines that have relatively long layovers, they'll tow their planes over here and park them here for a few hours in between, you know, after they arrive, and then before they depart, they'll tow them over here just to make space at the terminal, because Terminal 5 is actually really, really congested sometimes. They actually did expand it. That's this right here. This whole thing is the expansion, which ironically didn't really, I think it added like total like 1 or 2 gates, ironically enough. They renumbered them. I think it used to go from M1 all the way back there all the way to M21. So M21 would actually be like right here, and then they added this part on, and apparently it goes to like M32 or something, but they renumbered a whole bunch of other gates before, so I think it's the same amount of gates actually. They just make it seem like it's more after they renumbered a few. Like we'll get to that in a few moments, but this is basically the expansion here, and then all these gates here, and then all the way down there. So here's just a brief overview of the terminal. If you can see, it doesn't really, it's not a great representation. I mean, the only part that's really inaccurate is this right here. This is like the main head house of Terminal 5. Like this is huge. It's like a giant piece of architecture right here. If you've ever seen Terminal 5 in real life, this is nothing compared to what it looks like in real life. So because it is a one-time update, didn't really spend too much time and effort on it, but I don't know how else I'm going to recreate it, to be honest, unless I pay $400 to get a custom-made Terminal 5, which I don't think is worth it for right now. But yeah, this is the best I could do, and there is no time frame for this update because it is a one-time update, and also because I've been wanting to do it for such a long time. I put every single airline that I have for this airport in this update. So of course there's a bunch of airlines that I am missing from Terminal 5 for my model of it. Of course, a few major ones: Aer Lingus, Austrian Airlines, Finnair. I do have KLM, but my model, I have a 777 300ER. The nose gear is broken on it, and I've been trying to find a replacement nose gear for the longest time, and nobody seems to have one, which is really weird because how hard is it to get a replacement nose gear? So that one is not, it's not, I can't put it in because it's broken, unfortunately. I don't have Air France, I don't have Hainan Airlines, and Hainan doesn't even fly here anymore, they suspended service. But China Eastern, I don't have either. Avianca and Viva Aerobus. There might be a few more that I'm missing, but for the most part, I have a good amount of the carriers that fly here into Chicago Terminal 5 and O'Hare in general. So that's the terminal. I have some planes in the taxiway as well that don't even have anything to do with this terminal, just because I wanted to add some more stuff and spice it up a little bit. So I think that's really it. Terminal 5 obviously is the main international concourse terminal in O'Hare. It not only serves international flights, it actually serves a couple domestic flights as well. So of course Southwest operates exclusively from here. Same with Frontier and Sun Country. Where's Sun Country? There's Sun Country. And you also have Denver Air Connection, who fly Embraer 145s. I don't have them in this update. They're another airline that I'm missing, but they're like, that's impossible to do Denver Air. Nobody's made a model of them. So yeah, in total, 23 countries on this board right now. I believe it's 23. Let me briefly run through them. Of course, the US, you have the United Arab Emirates right here with these two airlines. Jordan, Hong Kong, Taiwan. This is actually technically 3: Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland, Portugal, Switzerland, Poland, the United Kingdom, Qatar, Germany, already got them, Japan, Ethiopia, India. Now the Turkey is not called Turkey anymore. It's actually Turkey. That they changed their name officially recently, if you didn't hear. So Turkey is no longer Turkey. It's Turkey now. And likewise, Turkish Airlines is going to be changing their name. The government's looking to change their name from Turkish Airlines to an exclusively Turkish name, Turki Hava Yolları, which is actually, I think that was the old name of the airline back in the day. It was Turk Hava Yolları, and then they rebranded to Turkish Airlines. But I guess the government's trying to rebrand it to Turki Hava Yolları, which is, I guess, Turkish Airlines or Turkish airplane or whatever in Turkish language. So yeah, Turkey right here, Spain, South Korea, Japan. We already got Japan, and then Panama and Mexico down there. So yeah, crazy lineup. And I think that's all I have to say. Been wasting too much time. It's going to be a big video. So let's go ahead and begin. Alright, so we're going to start up here with the remote stands here at Terminal 5. I guess we'll move backwards, technically. We'll start with the remote stands, then go from the last gate at Terminal 5 all the way to the first. I don't really have a set plan for this update. I actually don't even have any, like I said, no time frame. I didn't actually write any flight numbers down because, to be honest, most of the flight numbers for the international carriers, I know most of them by heart, actually. All of them except, like, of course, these U.S. airlines like Frontier, Spirit, American, United. There's so many, I can't just say one off the top of my head. But the good thing is with all the international airlines, they only have so many flights every day to Chicago, so they have one or literally just one set of flight numbers, easy to remember. So yeah, we'll start right here with this Frontier A321. They exclusively operate from Terminal 5. They used to operate from Terminal 3, along with a bunch of other airlines, but then they eventually got kicked out and moved to Terminal 5 in 2017 or 2018. So yeah, they moved here a while ago. This Frontier A321 came in earlier today from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Just going to sit here all day, and then tonight operate a flight down to Orlando. Emirates 777-300ER right here. Better lighting is on this side. This aircraft arrived as flight EK235 from Dubai and is just resting here at one of the remote gates. And about an hour before its departure tonight, it'll get towed back to its departure gate and operate flight 236 back to Dubai. So Emirates is one of the airlines, along with all these other ones. They usually are one that you'll see sitting at the remote stand during the day because they have about, I think it's like a 4 or 5 hour layover here in Chicago. So like I said earlier in the video, to make space at the actual terminal, they'll tow a bunch of just dormant, stationary airplanes. They'll just tow them over to the remote gate area and service them here. Like I've seen a bunch of them getting catered and with air stairs attached. So that's what I have here. And then next up is its competitor from Abu Dhabi, same country, Etihad Airways 7879, also, sitting at the remote gate in between flights. Arrived as flight EY151 from Abu Dhabi. It's going to operate flight EY150 back to Abu Dhabi later tonight. And of course, they initially flew the 777-300ER to Chicago. Ever since the pandemic began, they switched to 7879, and they haven't changed ever since. They will be starting A350-1000 service to Chicago July 1st. So that's really exciting. I don't think I'll be able to see the inaugural flight, but yeah, Etihad's going to be flying their 350, the brand new 350 to Chicago and JFK starting July 1st, which is really exciting. So might have to get that model soon. Another Middle Eastern carrier here, Royal Jordanian Airlines, Boeing 787-8, came in earlier from Amman as flight, I believe it's 263, and it goes back to Amman later tonight, 9:30 p.m. or so, as flight 264. Beautiful plane there. And poor Cathay Pacific, they actually have not flown to Chicago in a very, very long time. It's been a few months, actually. Cathay Pacific is just not doing very good. They're in a literally a downward spiral right now. Hong Kong has very, very strict quarantine rules, and Cathay Pacific is unfortunately just rolling with the punches right now. So they have not flown to Chicago in months. Back when they did operate passenger service to Chicago, they would operate, I believe it was flight 807, Hong Kong, Chicago, and then flight 806 back to Hong Kong, and that was passenger before the pandemic. And then ever since the pandemic, they've been doing cargo-only flights. I don't have a flight number for you guys today, but I just have a Cathay Pacific 777-300ER just sitting here at the remote gates, doing cargo-only service from and to Hong Kong. So yeah, they haven't been here in a long, long time. I last saw them last year, actually. I saw their A350 here. And they just haven't been back in a long time, which is really sad. I love Cathay Pacific. I've flown with their regional airline, Cathay Dragon, in 2019 from Hong Kong to Malaysia and back. That airline no longer exists. They went out of business because of the financial troubles and stuff. Well, actually, not really. I think they went out of business because Cathay Pacific tried to streamline their operations, so they ended their regional subsidiary, Cathay Dragon, and just integrated them back into Cathay Pacific. So really hope things get better for them. I love Cathay Pacific. They have just such a unique airline, and yeah, that's all I have to say. So moving on here, this is actually a new remote stand here. With this new expansion, these are all new actually, believe it or not. Before, when it was just like gate M21 used to end right here, and so right behind it there would be like one or two or three like stands right here. So I used to see like British Airways here, Virgin Atlantic A340 here, and just a bunch of random stuff. It was cool. I've actually seen a Finnair A330 parked here as well. It actually got damaged by a ground loading vehicle back in 2018, and so it sat here for a long time, and then eventually I think it flew to Victorville for repairs. So that happened. And I also saw JetBlue with A320 parked here as well back in I think 2017. So yeah, but these are new. These two stands are new. They were added with this expansion. So usually you'll get like cargo only flights and other, long layover passenger flights just sitting here. So over here we have the EVA Air 777-300ER, arrived from Taipei as flight 56, I believe that's what it is, and it's going to operate flight 55 back to Taipei. They are one of the EVA Air and let's see who else. EVA Air, TAP Portugal, and one of the Lufthansa flights, the A340 flight. Those are the three last wide-body international flights that usually arrive. They usually arrive between like 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. So those three are the last ones of the day to arrive. EVA Air, they've been doing a mix of cargo-only flights and passenger services. So this is a passenger flight that I just included because why not? So yeah, I really like EVA Air. Their livery is amazing. Haven't gotten the chance to spot them properly. I've seen them quite a few times, but I haven't gotten the chance to get good footage of them because they come in late at night, like 8:30, 9 p.m. So the lighting is not good at all, and they depart at like midnight back to Taipei. So yeah, very, very weird timing for them. Next to Scandinavian Airlines A330-300. This is a cargo-only service. Yeah, why not? Okay, this came in from... Actually, no, we'll do passenger service for this one. This came in from Copenhagen, Denmark, right? I think that's where they fly. Copenhagen has flight 943, and it's going to go back to Copenhagen as flight 944. So last year they would do cargo-only service from Copenhagen on the 330 and it was not that flight number, it was a different one. But yeah, I just included that because why not? And then right now it's actually both. So SAS, they serve both Copenhagen, Denmark, and Stockholm, Sweden from O'Hare. Both flights right now are on the A330. Last year I think we had Stockholm on the A350 and then Copenhagen on the 330. But both flights have resumed this year. A330 passenger on both flights. Just over here we have the United 767-300ER, arrived earlier from London Heathrow and is now preparing to push back to get towed over to Terminal 1, and it'll operate a flight out to Zurich, Switzerland tonight. So as I mentioned in many of my previous videos, or maybe just one or two, United and American, their international arrivals are in Terminal 5, because this is the only customs and immigration facility in Chicago O'Hare, and then these planes will get towed back to their home terminals about an hour or two after arriving to operate their next departures. So that's how it works here at Chicago. So it came from Heathrow, it's going to go back to, not back to Heathrow, but to Zurich later tonight. Over here, this is actually a frequent visitor to Chicago. In fact, it came in today. Icelandair 757-300 in the 100th anniversary livery, 100 years of independence livery. Came in from Reykjavik as flight 853. It's going to go back out to Reykjavik as flight 852. So we actually never used to get the 753 before regularly. We used to always get the 757-200 or the 737 MAX. This is the first year or summer that we're getting the 757-300 on regular service. And we have one daily flight from 753, and then we have another one on the 737 MAX. So that's really cool. I finally get a chance to put this plane in an update. I was actually going to sell this a while back because we just never got it in Chicago, but finally we're getting it like regularly, which is really cool. And really quickly, let me get this Lufthansa A340-300. This is a new model. I literally just got this today in the mail. So Lufthansa has 4 daily flights to Chicago during the summer, 2 from Munich, 2 from Frankfurt. This is a Frankfurt flight, the second daily one, seasonal service only during the summer and fall, I think. So year-round, they have 1 daily to Frankfurt, 1 daily to Munich, but in the summertime, they'll add an additional frequency to each city. So this summer, we're getting the A340-300 from Frankfurt and the 747 from Frankfurt, obviously. And then 350s operate both daily flights to Munich. But here's flight 432. I think that's what it is, flight 432 for Lufthansa, coming in from Frankfurt. A340-300, the Star Alliance livery. It's just sitting here waiting for the 763 to push back. It'll go this way, and then LH will pull in, I guess, I don't know. And then, yeah, it's coming from Frankfurt. So, yeah, really cool. This is actually one of 2 daily 340-300s we're getting. We get Lufthansa A340-300, and also Swiss sends us the 340-300 on one of 2 daily flights. So that's really cool. Moving on here, we have the TAP Portugal Airbus A330-900 Neo. Came in from Lisbon. I believe it's flight 242 or 243, and it goes back out to Lisbon as flight 2 as the other one. It comes as like 243, departs as flight 242. So yeah, they arrive pretty late as well, like 9 p.m. and I don't know when they depart, 11 or so p.m. So yeah, TAP Portugal for you there. And here's something I wanted to show you all. So with this new expansion, they have a really, really weird gate system. It's like, I didn't really accurately replicate it here. So each gate has like its own connection to the building, but I only have one, as you can see. I didn't have enough like connectors. So like this has one connection into the building, this one has its own connection to the building, this one has its own connection into the building. I didn't have enough, connectors to show it, but this is exactly what it looks like almost what it looks like if you look at it on Google Maps. That's kind of what it looks like there. So I thought that's really cool how I was able to include that. I did my best to make it as realistic as possible. So there we go. Over here next door is Swiss A330-300, arrived as flight 6 from Zurich. It's going to go back out as flight 7. This is a seasonal flight during the summer. Swiss during the summer, just like I mentioned a little bit earlier with Lufthansa, I kind of hinted at this. They also have 2 daily, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Lufthansa has 4 daily in the summer, but Swiss has 2 daily in the summer. They have flight 6 and 7, which is currently the A330-300. I think it's always been that way. And then the usual flight 8 and 9, which historically, I think during like the winter and the spring, it's A330-300. Because flight 8 and 9 is their actual year-round flight. 6 and 7 is the seasonal service during the summer or whatever. So this flight's an A330-300. But during the summer, I believe flights 8 and 9, it gets upgauged. Usually it's been a 777-300ER during the summer, but this summer it's the A340-300, which is really cool. And I think it was the same way last year, but last year they would alternate it more frequently between the 340 and the 777. But this summer it's like just the 330-300 on flight 6-7, and flight 8-9 is just exclusively the A340, so that's pretty cool. Next here, one of the bigger international carriers in Chicago, LOT Polish Airlines 7878. They currently only operate the Dash 9 in Chicago, but this was a Black Friday deal. I got this for like $30, so I mean, couldn't pass that up. This came in from Krakow as flight 9. It's going to go back out to Warsaw as flight 2. So during the summer, LOT Polish has they increase their frequency, so they add 2 regular services to Warsaw and then an additional service to Krakow. So Krakow is seasonal, but Warsaw, they have 1 flight to Warsaw that runs year-round, and then an additional service which is seasonal, and then Krakow is also seasonal, which is really cool. And LOT Polish is, because Chicago has such a big Polish community, LOT Polish is a really, really popular, really successful long-haul airline here. So yeah, I think they were the first airline to fly the 787 to Chicago as well back in 2013 or 2012. So that's a cool fact for you. Oh boy, British Airways. So here the 787-8 from British Airways, flight 295 from Heathrow, London Heathrow, and it's going to go back out to Heathrow as flight 294. This flight is currently the Airbus A380. I don't have that model yet. I plan to hopefully get it soon. British Airways is so weird. I mean, just like most, like Chicago is like, I feel like we're the only city that gets such a mix, actually Dallas as well, but yeah, British Airways, they don't have a set plane half the time. Like this, like flight 294, 295, and their second daily flight during the summer is 297, 296. So we've been getting the 777-300ER, the 787-8, the 787-9, the 787-10, the A350, 1000, and the A380 all this year. It's just crazy what they're sending us. But currently, this flight is the 380, and then their second seasonal flight, summer seasonal flight, 297, 296 is I think it's the 787-10. So yeah, I don't have either of those, but I have the 788, so that's cool. All right, next up, Qatar Airways 777-300ER came in as flight 725 from Doha, and it's going to go back out to Doha later tonight as flight 726. Qatar Airways used to have 2 daily services to O'Hare. It was either 2 daily or like 10 weekly. So they would have another flight that would come in at like 9 in the morning and depart at like 1 a.m. It was initially 777-200LR, and then they upgraded it later to a 333. Unfortunately, they ended that May 31st for the summer, or for a few months. They'll bring it back later in the fall or the winter or whatever. So right now we're back to just 1 daily service with Qatar Airways, the usual 725, 726, 777-300ER. All right, here's the big boy. This is the only 747 we get right now daily passenger-wise. Lufthansa 747-8 came in from Frankfurt as flight 430, and it goes back out to Frankfurt as flight, I think, 431. So this will get eventually towed over to Terminal 1, Concourse B for its departure. Same with that 340 that I showed earlier. So Lufthansa and ANA, they arrive in Terminal 5, and then they taxi. They don't get towed over. They taxi actually over empty to Terminal 1, Concourse B, and they depart from there because they are Star Alliance members, and United Star Alliance airline, of course, is hubbed here. So they depart from Terminal 1, Concourse B. So that's how that works. Second SAS airplane is up to A350-900. This is operating the Stockholm flight 945, and it's going to go back out to Stockholm later tonight. It's flight 946. And before I forget, here's just a bunch of random planes I threw in a few hours ago on the taxiway. It wouldn't be an O'Hare update without the little regional jets and the random mainline narrow bodies. So we'll start off here with this SkyWest CRJ700 operated by, American Eagle CRJ700 in the SkyWest house colors, operated by SkyWest. It's going off to Springfield, Branson, or Springfield, Missouri, whatever. Here's the Envoy Air, or American Eagle ERJ-145, operated by Envoy Air, going off to Champaign tonight. And the second E-145 headed off to Bloomington, Illinois. Sun Country 737-800 going off to Minneapolis, and this operates from Terminal 5. Spirit A321 operating flight out to Fort Lauderdale. United 737-700 going off to New York LaGuardia, and then the American Embraer 175 going off to, let's send this, let's see, what's Des Moines, not Des Moines, I don't know if they send that there. Let's send them to Minneapolis, why not? Alright, taxiway's done. Alright, next up, All Nippon Airways 777-300ER, just waiting for the traffic to clear up, and then he will resume pushback. And it'll start up, taxi over empty to Terminal 1, Concourse B, and then from there it'll board and depart back out to Tokyo Narita, as I think that's flight 12? I think it's inbound is flight 11 and goes back out as flight 12. So we used to have ANA would operate 2 daily flights, one from Haneda, one from Narita. They've canceled the Haneda flight due to the pandemic, and now Haneda is actually exclusively on Japan Airlines. So ANA is exclusively operating to Tokyo Narita, flight 11 and flight 12. So that's going to be eventually going over to Terminal 1. Here's our only non-stop service to the continent of Africa. Ethiopian Airlines 777-200LR. In real life, it's actually a 787-8 most of the time. Sometimes they'll bring in the 9. I really don't mind right now. I don't really care enough to get that model, but I just have the 777. I bought this because it was a really good deal a few years back. They very rarely fly this here, the 222. They haven't flown it here in a long time, but I have it, so why not? Ethiopian 777-200LR came in from Addis Ababa via Dublin as flight, I think 575, and then I don't know the return flight. I think it's 574 or 576 or something, I don't know. But one of the flights, I believe, is 575. So it actually goes via Dublin. The reason for that is Addis Ababa is actually such a high elevation airport that they can't fuel the plane up completely for the flight to Chicago. So a fully loaded, fully fueled 787 cannot take off from Addis Ababa for like a 14-hour, 12, 14-hour flight to Chicago. So they have to stop over in Dublin for refueling. The passengers stay on board the plane. They don't get pre-clearance. They have to stay on board the plane, as far as I'm aware, in Dublin as the plane gets refueled. And then it flies from Dublin to Chicago. And then and actually the nonstop, the return flight to Addis Ababa is nonstop because Chicago is not as high elevation as Addis Ababa. So they can refuel the plane up fully loaded plane can take off with ease back nonstop to Ethiopia. So that's how they function here. It's pretty interesting. I think they do the same thing with their flight to Washington Dulles and LA as well, which is pretty interesting. And actually I think all of their US flights for that matter. Next up, one of my favorite international airlines in Chicago, which is ironic because I'm Pakistani, but Air India 777-300ER arrived earlier as flight 127 from Delhi and is now getting heavily serviced for its return flight to Delhi as flight 126. So beautiful flight there. I really want to get some good footage of Air India. I always see them because I've taken a lot of early morning flights from O'Hare, and that's when Air India is here. They're one of the first heavies to arrive actually of the day. They arrive 6:30 in the morning. That's usually when they arrive. I think their scheduled arrival time is 7:15, but they always are running early, so they usually land at like 6:30 or something. So I really want to get a good video of them because I love Air India for some reason. I really like their livery. It'd be nice if PIA flew here as well. It'd be amazing to see Air India and PIA side by side. I would love to see that one day. Time will tell, but hopefully I'll get some good footage of them tomorrow in Chicago. We'll see. But Air India nonstop to Delhi, India. All right, next up, Turki Hava Yolları 777-300ER came in as flight 5 from Istanbul, and it's going to operate flight 6 back to Istanbul later. Just like Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines also had a second. I think they still do. They have a earlier flight in the day, flight 185, 186. That's a 787 currently. I didn't put the 78 in because I wanted to put in as many 777-300ERs as possible. I think Chicago, we probably are like the one airport in the U.S. that gets the most 333s. I think it's just not even a debate. I think we get the most. I think LA or San Francisco might be a close second, but I think we get the most right now. So yeah, Turkish has a earlier morning flight, comes in at like 9 a.m. and departs at like 12. It's a 787 right now. It switches like a few months ago it was a 777, but right now it's 787. But this flight here, Turkish 5, Turkish 6, that's a 777-300ER. It's always been that way for a while, or maybe I think it was a 787 for a while, for a short time. But right now it's a 333. So Yeah, there we go, Istanbul. I actually took this flight back in 2014 when it was the A330-200. That was back then the longest A330 flight in the world, I think. And then ever since then, they added a new flight from Istanbul to like Caracas, Venezuela, and that's like 14 hours on an A330. It was, and then I think they upgraded that to a 787. So I'm not sure what the longest A330 flight in the world is right now, but back then, 2014, when I flew this flight, it was 11 hours Istanbul, Chicago on the 330-200. So good times. All right, Iberia. We don't get this plane right now. We get the A330, but I don't have that. Iberia A350-900 pushing back right now. It is going to taxi over to Terminal 3, Concourse K, which is actually right here, kind of. I don't have space for it, but yeah, it came in from Madrid as flight 6275, and it goes back out to Madrid as flight 6274. So Iberia and Japan Airlines, they, just like Lufthansa and ANA, they arrive into Terminal 5, but they depart from their alliance partners terminal. So their partners, One World Alliance partners with American, so they depart from Terminal 3, Concourse K. So right now we get the A330. We haven't gotten the 350 in a while, but I don't have the 330, so that's why I have it here. So that's going to go to Concourse K and depart from there. And of course, I had to get an American wide body in here somehow. This 7879 is taxiing out for departure to London Heathrow as flight 86. So we have, I think, 3 daily Heathrow departures for American, which is pretty cool. And a lot of Heathrow flights, London flights in general, because United has a bunch, American has a bunch, and British Airways has like 2. So yeah. Empty gate here. This is actually not a double gate in real life. And actually, let me briefly mention, we don't have any like actual double gates like this. I think this is the only A380 gate that we have. This technically is the one that attaches on the upper deck, this jetway, and then this is the lower deck jetway, but I'm not too sure about that. Everything else is like single jetway. This jetway actually I think is for this stand right here, and then there's like just one jetway for each stand. I'm not sure. We don't have like these dual jetways at O'Hare, but it looks like we do. We don't have them in real life. Korean 777-300ER. I think this is flight 38 to Seoul Incheon flight 38, and it arrives as flight 37. So there we go. They're usually parked on this side. I've seen them here. Actually, nobody has a set parking spot. Korean parks here sometimes. I've seen them here most of the time. Sometimes they'll be over there. I don't know. Next up, Japan Airlines 777-300ER comes in as flight 10. Yeah, flight 10 from Tokyo Haneda, and then departs as flight 9 back to Haneda. It also departs from Concourse K, which is right here somewhere. It pushes back, taxis over, parks gate K19 or K16, whatever. So currently they're flying a mix. Like one day they'll fly 333, the next day it's 7879, they'll flip-flop. I think the 789 is actually the cargo service, but they operate it under the same flight number, so I'm not too sure how it works. Like, pandemic's got everybody messed up right now. I don't know what their schedule is, but I believe the 777 is the only one doing passenger flights. The 7879 does the cargo. But this is a custom model that I made specifically for this airport. I think I did a decent job on it. So, yep, that's Japan Airlines. All right, now on to, oh boy, Southwest. What a meme they are in Chicago. So they began service to O'Hare last year, February 14th, 2021. They've expanded too fast. They've expanded so fast at an airport that's already so congested. You can see this right here. This actually happened when I flew Southwest into O'Hare last year. We couldn't get a gate because there was already so many gates occupied. And then we went into a ground stop because there was a huge severe thunderstorm, and then it was a mess. So this is kind of the scenario that I'm recreating here. Las Vegas flight was pushing out of this gate, and we had to wait for them to push back, and then we came in. So yeah. So this 737-700 just pushed back. It's going to go off to Las Vegas, like I mentioned. And then this 737 in the Canyon Blue livery is coming in from Nashville. Not Nashville, Baltimore, and it's gonna continue onwards to Nashville. So yeah. So this is technically, it's M5, gate M5 right now. It's M5 here, and then they have a different stand, which is M5A. This is technically, originally it was M4, because it's the 4th gate. That makes sense, right? It used to be M4. They renamed it, they renumbered it to M5, and I don't understand why. They got rid of M4, and then a bunch of other gates got renumbered. It just doesn't make sense what O'Hare's doing, but yeah, it's really weird. All right, next up, Copa Airlines 737-800, operating from and to Panama City, just getting regular service there. I'll be honest, I don't know their flight number because they have a couple of daily flights here. I'm not too sure about that, but yeah, Copa, Panama City. Next up, Aeromexico 737-800, operating, came from Guadalajara. It's going to go back to Mexico City. I also am not too sure of their flight number because they have a lot of flights to Chicago. And then their low-cost competition, Volaris A320neo, here from, I'm going to send them to a different city. I think they fly to Zacatecas, something like that, Zacatecas or something like that. So I'll say it came in from there, and it's going to go out to, did they fly to Silao? I think they fly to Silao from Midway, but I'll say it came from Zacatecas, and it's going to go out to, oh boy, let's just see. I'm thinking, I really don't know. I'm doing this, I'm literally winging this right now. Came from Zacatecas, and it's going to go out to Mexico City because I can't think of anything right now. And I don't know the flight number for them either because they have so many daily flights. Not just O'Hare, to Midway as well. So this is M1, M2, M3, M5. I think it's M6, M7, and then it's weird. It's so weird how they number it. So yeah, man, that's it. What a movie this was. Crazy. I just want to briefly show you all. This is actually, theoretically, this is where the ATS would run through, the airport transit system, the train. It goes like right alongside here. Or no. Yeah, it does. It goes downhill, and then the station's like right around here, and then it just clears out that way. And then the expressway and the whatever, it's also over here. The CTA subway, Blue Line, it's also right over here. Don't have space. Just imagine they're there. So that's it actually. Wow. So yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed this. I think I did a decent job explaining everything. Of course, there's a bunch of airlines I don't have that I would love to have in the future here. Finnair and Aer Lingus and Austrian, those three especially. It's kind of funny because both Finnair, SAS, and Iberia, all three of them, they alternate between the 350 and the 330 here in Chicago. It's kind of funny. Like 1 year they'll send a 330, then the next summer they'll send a 350, or the next year or whatever. Maybe they'll flip-flop many times during a season or a year. So those three, they're always, well, not always, but historically they've flown both 330 and 350, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I am so done right now. Oh man, I'm tired. I got to get up in literally 3 hours for my bus to Chicago, so I'm not going to get much sleep. I hope I can stay awake tomorrow. It's just been it's going to be a tough weekend because I got to work the day after. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It was very, very long, but I hope it was worth it because I've been wanting to do this update for such a long time. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Let me know what else you want to see in the future. Next week is 4th of July weekend, so I'm planning to do Washington Reagan National. I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work out, I will let you all know. But that's it for today. Let's finish off with the Emirates because we love Emirates. Alright guys, thank you so much. I hope you stuck around till the end. If you did, let me know you did because I would love to hear who sticks around, who doesn't. But yeah, I'll let you all go. Thank you so very much for watching, and take care. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.